from trial and error, we kind of learn this not, try again, and then we weed out the bad stuff that we should stay away from. And yet we seem to be attracted to the same kind of patterns, to the same kind of people, because in so many ways they are our sounding board, they are our perfect mirror on which we project and they reflect the unhealed parts. So back to the couple, we are talking about two individuals, each with their luggage, which is unaddressed, a truckload of suitcases which they haven't opened and which they haven't sorted, but they bring with them in that new relationship. Because of the initial butterflies of the new discovery and the chemistry and the passion and everything else, the kind of the 18 months before everything starts to fade out, and because of all the past negative experiences, like the last thing we want to think about or to do is to work on ourselves. We want some pleasure. We want our lucky strike. So we think we got it. And we think that by burying our head in the sand, those things will go away because now we have a new beginning, we have a new relationship. There is no relationship. And I want you to be aware if you are in a crisis situation, because you have been in the same situation you are now from the beginning. Only that, the novelty and your hopes and your projections and your aspirations and the hormones of the first discovery and chemistry has masked it. But once that has faded out, what you are left with, each of you are left with your own suitcases. And when you live together, you happen now from time to time to stumble into each other's suitcase and you are surprised. Oh, I didn't know about that. Well, I didn't know about that. And from then onwards, it's a matter of walking on eggshells. Like, okay, I didn't quite like that, but okay, you are sensitive on that, or I'm going to try to not say it again, but it's like everybody is just faking it from that moment on. Why? Because it will be too much to actually lay it all out on the table. Number one, because our partner should never be made a therapist, and is not a therapist, and even if the partner is a therapist, is the last thing that they need or they can deal with, because in that moment they cannot be objective and it's unfair to put all that load on them. And number two, you still need to be heard. You still need to address them. So you either battle them up and you try to synchronize your moves, your steps, your compromises so that you won't step into the other's suitcase too much, or you have, because that it's a surface fake inauthentic action, when the glass fills up, then we have the classical outburst. And what we do in those fights is we count all those moments until the glass filled up with the many things we put up without saying anything. And because we put up without saying anything with XYZ, now we feel entitled to recognition. Well, I put up with XYZ. You didn't acknowledge the fact that I put up with XYZ. You are ungrateful. And the other party has their own grievances. In reality, if you are in that crisis situation, you just have to put your weapons down. You have to cease fire. And you have to come and see me. Both. Even if you've been through years of couples therapy. I have clients who have been in 2-3 years of couples therapy and they're just about to divorce. And they said they're married. You cannot address the marriage, you cannot address the relationship, because there is none until you work out who you are, what your underworld is, what's in your suitcases, what you brought with you in this relationship. So until we bring the unconscious to the surface to become conscious, until we raise your self-knowledge and self-awareness of your own things, of your own good, bad, and ugly sides, you can't understand the dynamics of how these things impact the other, and vice versa. So fixing a relationship or trying to work on a relationship, like everything else, it starts with an individual journey. It's first a me thing. I need to fix me. I need to address my own issues. First, to deal with all my past, to get, and dealing with the past, when I say that, I don't mean 2 years of psychoanalysis. That's the 19th century style. I mean, 40 hours, that's all you need. And you can't do 40 hours in a year. You need to do them fast. The change needs to happen within 3 months, because otherwise, if it takes too long, it will metastasize. You become accustomed to that period of, well, we are working on it. And that means everything. Then you become too elastic. Everything in between, it becomes like, oh, well, we are working on it. Meanwhile, no result is achieved and no resolution and no moving forward. So that becomes then an excuse which everyone uses. Well, I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. Well, so where's the next step? Something concrete. Nobody can give that. That's the key take home if you're in a crisis situation. It's not about the other. It's always about your underworld. It's always about your suitcases that you brought in that relationship.